Hi guys, today we'll be going through, or actually just learning how to create what happened there? How to create a stepping application, I guess. So you'll be able to go to the next step and go to the back page, the previous step. Some people call it steppers, some people call it a stepping wizard, some people just call it wizard. It's up to you how you want to call it, how you want to address it, but my job right here, right now, is to just show you how to do it. So yeah, so I don't really talk in my videos. So some of you guys have requested that I do talk in them because apparently when I don't talk in them, it's kind of pointless. There's no point to the video, and apparently it's hard for some of you guys to focus on what I'm doing or why I'm doing it a certain way. But yeah, so without wasting your time, let's get right into it. So first thing first, make sure you have a React application running. For this example, I'm going to be using a code sandbox. Uh, so it's easier for me to share it with you guys without having to put it on my GitHub. So yeah, so let's start. So first thing first, let's have a config, which is going to be an object, and it's going to have a steps property, which is going to be an array of an array. Why am I tapping? So it's going to be an array of objects. It's going to have two properties. Title is going to be a string, which is going to be step 1 title. Okay, okay, and then we'll have a component. You see, right here, I did an uppercase C. Well, the reason is if we do a lowercase c and we instantiate it as a component, it won't work because React will see it as a React element. And since component doesn't exist as a React element, so React element would be something like a division or div span h1. Because this doesn't exist, it will give you an error and it won't be able to render it. So in order to tell React that this is a component that we as a developer have written, we have to put the uppercase as C. That will be the same case when you're writing like a component like this. But I'm just going to do it inline here because who's bothered to write, I don't know, 4 files. I'm just going to simply show you what's going on. So for this example, we're going to use the main tag. So it's easy for me to do some CSS on it, some simple CSS. We're not going to go, I don't know, deep into it. Okay, so step, okay, h1. Okay, body finishes right here. Step, going to paste it 2 times. Okay, here. Const step index set step index use state, and it's going to be 0. So 0 is which step are we starting on. I'm going to start on step 0, and it's up to you where you want to start. So now let's replace this with wrapper. This will be some JavaScript. Okay, what we want to do is first we want to destructure the component, so that will be const config steps step index. Actually, do we need JavaScript here? Actually, no. Step 1. Actually, if you wanna pass the title in as props, you can do that too. So that will be title, and then that would be title equals the title, and then in order to use it, what we want to do is actually let's do h2 props title from config object title, and the title will come in as props. No, what am I doing? See, step 1 title, which is coming from right here, from the config, from the steps array, from this object. Okay, so now let's do some simple CSS. Okay, what we want to do is okay, width of 500 pixels, height of 700 pixels, border of red, no, one, okay, and now main. Okay, so the red is the wrapper, the green, which is, let's give it some, so you see, the wrapper, and this is the body, so that would be this. So now let's add the ability to go to the next step and then go back to the previous step. Okay, let me just see how we should do this. Okay. Okay, so there's two ways of actually doing this. One way would be to follow the dry principle and have a button right here. We will have one button under each of these steps, and we can do what we want. But in case you want to get information, or you want to get data passed in from this component to the parent component, which is this app component in our case, what we want to do is we want to be able to pass in the function to, I don't know, to these components individually, and then from there we decide what we want to do with it. So, well, you also can use context or Redux. Then that way you can have global state, but this application is fairly simple. We don't really need to bring a global state management, I don't know, tool to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a function next step set step index prev plus 1, and what we want to do is we want to pass it in. Okay, now we can bring it in here. That's this button right here. Okay, next step, on click. We want to do the same thing for step okay, now that should work fine. The reason why we don't want to have it in the third step is because if we have it and we click next, we will go outside the bounds of the array. We will basically try to access an index of the array which doesn't exist, where the React application will crash and you will see just errors everywhere in the console and on this page right here. So we're going to avoid it, but even then, if you guys want to add some further, I don't know, validations or I don't know, some safety checks, what you want to do is you want to check for the step against the steps length and then stop the user from moving forward. Yeah, you can do that. But because we want to keep this simple, we'll just keep it as is. So you see his next step takes me to step 2 body, and then that will take me to the next one. Okay, now let's do the same thing for the back one, which is going to be basically the opposite of this. Wow. You see now, if we were to pass this previous step to each component, we would have basically a section which essentially does the same thing. And let's say, for example, this title that we have to pass it in as props, and each page would have this. That's basically repetition, no? Because we have the title on each step, we will have the back button on each step too. So I guess what we should do is let's let's make a div. Okay, let's make a div and we'll call it okay, what we want to do here is we want to have two things. We want to have a button to go back, and also we want to have a title. So let's give this, okay, can't see that. I guess we'll just stick with that. And then, so because we gave this 100, what we want to do is we want to calc this minus 100 pixels, and that should fit right in. And also what we want to do is we want to display flex it. I swear I can't type today. Display flex. Justify content center. Actually, should we? Or no? Let's just leave it simple. You guys can make it look nice. So we have this, and we have so now let's do the back functionality. Okay, 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 okay. Actually, let's just give it some gap at the least. Okay, we just want to give it out of the bounds, I guess. Step index equals to 0. Well, I'm not. You see, I'm not really using the 3 triple equals because we know the type of this is a number, the type of this is also a number, so there isn't going to be any, I don't know, side effects that we are going to see. But just in case, because JavaScript is a bit stupid sometimes, you want to add 3 for strict equality, so nothing is changed. There's no changes between the types, but since they're both numbers, there won't be anything. Why are we still seeing the button? If step index equals to 0, if it's not equal to 0, see? Simple as that. Hi, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.